I want to talk to the woman who's been dealing with gut issues for years, the one whose labs keep coming back normal, the one who bloats after every meal because she can't predict no matter what she eliminates or tries, the one who suspects that hormones have something to do with it, but every time she brings it up in conversation, it goes nowhere. I want to talk to her because I was her. For a long time, I knew something was wrong in my body. It was screaming there was something wrong. But every time I went looking for answers, I was told everything was fine. In fact, I was told, oh, that's normal. Or you just have 3 kids. That's why you're so tired. Or just don't eat the thing that upsets your stomach, not realizing it was everything that upset my stomach. And so I was told that everything was normal and within range, and I had nothing to worry about. And yet I knew it wasn't fine. I knew it. I knew it in my bones. By the time I had my gallbladder removed, I had already been dismissed so many times that I wondered if it was me. I started going into my own head. I must be crazy. If I was just too sensitive, or that I was too focused on it, or too something. I remember being put in the car after surgery. I was barely even awake. I was barely even conscious. And as I was coming to, I heard it. Life will return to normal. That's what they said. I held on to those words. I believed them. I thought that surgery was the answer. I was told it was the answer. That was the pain. Now that the pain was gone, the rest would follow. That's what I was told. I was told a lot of things, but it didn't follow. And the pain was gone, yes, for a little bit, but in its place came something else, new symptoms, different symptoms, symptoms that made no sense and followed no pattern, right? So here I am, I'm thinking, oh, this is just another thing, not thinking it's the same thing, just in a different form. And when I went back and said, something isn't right, I was told that was normal too. It was normal. And I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And when no one would help me, I decided to help myself. I went back to school. I got my bachelor's degree in holistic nutrition. I became a digestive specialist and an herbalist. I earned 13 different certifications because I needed to understand what was going on and happening inside of my body. And what I found changed everything. I started learning patterns, the principles, the science, and the scripture, because the Bible has always contained the blueprint for healing. We just stopped looking there. I hadn't looked there. I had kept that separate, a separate part of my faith. My healing and my faith were separate, except for when I prayed for it. I learned now after this how to heal. I knew immediately that I had to teach it. So especially to women, and especially to women without a gallbladder or in danger of losing their gallbladder. We are the most underserved population in gut health, and nobody is talking about it. No one's talking about the way it needs to be talked about until now. I want to set the stage for you. Why do women wait longer for answers before they get help? It's in our biology, so I want to give you some context because this isn't just my story, it's a pattern and there is data behind it. Just a few facts. Women with IBD, inflammatory bowel disease, are diagnosed a median of 4 months later than men with identical symptoms. Think about that. 4 months more of pain and suffering with the exact symptoms of their male counterparts. Women experiencing heart attacks are 7 times more likely to be misdiagnosed and sent home. 7 times. Women with lupus wait an average of 6 years before receiving a diagnosis. Their symptoms repeatedly attributed to anxiety, depression, or stress. Also a little known fact, it wasn't until 1993 that the U.S. federal law required women to be included in clinical research at all. 1993. So men, our counterparts, have been studied for much, much longer. And women, it's fairly new. Here's a quote. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And that's in Hosea 4, verse 6. Before 1993, most of what medicine understood about the human body was based on studying men. That is the foundation of modern science. It was built on that. So when your doctor looks at your labs and says, everything looks normal, those reference ranges, those protocols, those standards, many of them were built around the male body and often around the body of a woman when they added her in who was menopausal because the fluctuation didn't happen. So you are not imagining this. You are not too sensitive. You have been measured against the wrong ruler, and that stops today. Here's what I'm going to give you today. 3 specific biological reasons women, especially women without a gallbladder, take longer to heal their gut. And so this is just my top 3. There's many things. So this is not vague hormonal hand waving. This is not another list of foods to avoid. Science with your body specifically in mind. That's what this is. So by the end of this, you will have language. You will have knowledge. You will be understanding what is going on. You will have a little bit more grace with yourself. The 3 main differences I want to talk about between men and women. Remember, this is not all of them. This is the 3 main ones. The first difference I want to focus on is hormones directly slow your gut motility. Scripture says she is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. That's Proverbs 31:25. Estrogen and progesterone both bind to receptors throughout the gastrointestinal tract. Your gut is very hormonally active. This is by design. So progesterone in particular slows down gut motility. This means food moves through your digestive system more slowly when progesterone is high. This is not necessarily a bad thing because sometimes the slower it goes, the more we can absorb, right? So if we're getting pregnant, if we're having babies, this is actually kind of key, but we don't want it to go too slow and we don't want it to go slow when it's not necessary. So this is why bloating and constipation and sluggish digestion often peaks in the second half of your cycle. Progesterone surges during the luteal phase and hits the brakes on your gut. So it's okay to not eat the same way, right? And so we start to follow hunger cues and signals. And this is what I have in part of my program because it's so key for women and their digestive systems. During pregnancy, progesterone skyrockets, which is why nearly every pregnant woman experiences constipation and reflux. The same mechanism of a higher magnitude. So after menopause, estrogen sharply drops and many women suddenly experience gut symptoms they've never had before because the hormonal environment of the gut has shifted again. So you can see if we do not understand this, we start blaming ourselves. We start looking in the wrong direction for help. So men do not experience this fluctuating hormonal landscape. Their digestive system operates in relative hormonal stability. It's just a nice, gentle wave, where ours are sharp peaks and lower valleys. When you were following a gut healing protocol designed around a male body, male physiology, while your progesterone is high and your motility is already sluggish, you're not failing the protocol. The protocol is failing to account for you. And that's where this is so incredibly valuable. I want you to think back. Do your gut symptoms shift with your cycle? Have you ever even just mapped it out? Did you ever notice that there are certain weeks that it's worse than others and that it never made sense because you hadn't changed what you were doing, what you were eating, what you were drinking? This is not randomness. This is progesterone. And for those of you with post-gallbladder removal, this hormonal influence on your digestive system is still happening, even without your gallbladder. So this organ is gone and the hormones are not. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. That is Psalms 139:13. God knit your hormonal system and your digestive system together at the same time. They were designed to interact and interact this way. So the problem is not that they interact. The problem is that nobody told you how to support that interaction. I want to pause here for just a second because if what I'm sharing is landing for you, I want you to know and to make sure that I tell you about my free training. It's 3 easy tips to heal digestion in 7 days. This is built specifically for those women with post-gallbladder removal or who are certainly suffering for hormonal imbalance. So this is absolutely free. It's practical and it's made for your body, your female body. It's in the show notes, so go grab it and let's keep going. Difference number 2 I want to focus on is women have a longer colon, and that changes everything. So on average, a woman has a colon that is approximately 10 centimeters longer than a man's and more looped in its path through the abdomen. It's wrapping around. This is not a design flaw, it's anatomy, but it has a significant functional consequence. A longer colon means a longer transit time. Food and waste spend more time moving through your system than they do a man's. So more time in transit means more opportunity for absorption, yes, but also for fermentation, putrefaction, gas production, and the bloating that seems to come out of nowhere. It also means that waste and toxins have longer contact with the colon wall, placing that additional demand for the liver to clear things out. If we're not aware, because this matters so deeply, when our liver is already working so hard post gallbladder removal, or if it's feeling sluggish and it hasn't been supported, this is going to make a huge difference in your health. Women who also have had their gallbladder out, their bile is just dripping into the small intestine. And this also makes it harder for those bile salts. And they've extended that contact time with the colon. So women can swing towards loose stools and towards constipation, or they alternate between both. So this is your biology, and this is not a mystery anymore. A healing plan that doesn't account for this anatomy is a healing plan that is built on guesswork. And I don't know about you, but I am so tired of guessing and trying and people not making sense. So this is the point where I want to say something very clearly to you. If you have been following a gut healing protocol designed for the average person and making no progress, this may be why. The average person that protocol was built around may not have had a longer transit time, may not have had a hormonal influence on motility like we just discussed. They may not have been managing bile acid exposure without a gallbladder. You are not the average person. And as a woman, you have a specific body and type and history, and you deserve a specific plan. Difference number 3. Women metabolize bile differently, especially after gallbladder removal. For I will restore health to you, and your wounds will heal, declares the Lord. That's in Jeremiah 30:17. The gallbladder's job was precise and very powerful. It is meant to store and concentrate bile. The liver dripped it in there, and it released in these controlled bursts. And when fat enters the small intestines, it makes it to where we can absorb it. So without this little organ, the bile just drips constantly into the small intestines. And again, like I said, there's no storage, there's no concentration, and there's no timed release. So the body compensates for this, but so perfectly. Here's what almost no one talks about. Estrogen increases the cholesterol saturation of bile, making it thicker and more prone to forming sludge and stones, something we don't want. So this is the primary reason women develop gallbladder disease at twice the rate of men. So estrogen was already creating the environment for stones before you were ever symptomatic. And there are absolute protocols for this. And I work with women all the time and balance their hormones, bring their estrogen down, get the toxins out of their body. This is so important. Progesterone slows the rate at which the gallbladder empties. So even before removal, even before all this has happened, the woman's bile is more sluggish and less efficient than a man's. Now we know that after that removal, estrogen continues to affect that bile composition from the liver. Bile tends to remain thicker and it's more saturated, which makes fat digestion harder and places strain on the liver. So now we can start to see this pattern here. A man post gallbladder removal often adapts relatively quickly because his hormonal influence on bile is minimal to begin with, right? So a woman post removal is starting from a more complex baseline, and she needs liver support, targeted bile salt supplementation, and a healing timeline that actually reflects her body's biology. This is not a weakness. This is information. And with the right information, you can stop guessing and build something that actually works. So when I finally understood all of this, when I connected the biology of bile to estrogen, to my cycle, to what was happening in my body once my gallbladder was gone, everything I experienced finally made sense. The symptoms after surgery that nobody warned me about was that the patterns didn't match what the protocol predicted. That feeling in my body wasn't working against me. My body was not working against me. Your body is not working against you. In fact, it's working for you. It's trying its hardest. And nobody had given me this information. I needed to work with my body, not against it. And that's what I want for you. The Bible has always contained the blueprint for healing. History has always shown us how women's bodies were once understood. We just stopped looking there. And I looked, so I can now show you. I want to take a moment before we close. I want to speak directly to you. If you have spent years feeling like your body is against you, if you have been told everything looks normal while you have felt anything but normal, and if you have had your gallbladder removed, been put in a car while you were barely awake and told that life would just return to normal, and then more symptoms came and nobody had answers, yeah, you are not broken. You were just unseen. Your body is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It was responding to your hormones. It was working through anatomy that is genuinely different from the anatomy of most medical research and what it was built on. It was a compensation for a missing organ in a hormonal environment that nobody helped you understand. I praise you because you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. That's Psalms 139:14. Fearfully and wonderfully made, not fearfully and inconveniently made, not fearfully and too hormonally complicatedly made. It's wonderfully made. The God who created you did not make a mistake when he made you a woman. Your complexity is not a problem. The lack of knowledge about your complexity is a problem. And that has been the problem for way too long. And knowledge is something we can fix. This is exactly what this channel is here to do. So a quick recap. Reason number one is estrogen and progesterone directly slow your gut motility in ways men never experience. Your hormones, your cycle is connected to your digestion, and that changes your healing timeline. Reason number two, women have a longer colon with a longer transit time, which can account for more fermentation, putrefaction, more bloating, and a more complex post-gallbladder healing picture that standard protocols don't account for. And even if you have your gallbladder, the hormone protocols and the digestion protocols usually aren't meant for women. Reason number three is that women metabolize bile differently because of estrogen, which is part of why we develop gallbladder disease at twice the rate of men, and why healing post-gallbladder removal is harder and takes a little bit longer because we don't know how to do it. But I do. So these are not excuses, these are facts. And with these facts, you can stop blaming yourself and start healing strategically the way God designed your body to heal. So if you're ready to stop guessing and start building a plan that actually accounts for your body's hormones, your anatomy, and your post-gallbladder reality, or you're trying to save your gallbladder and balance your hormones, I want you to grab my free training, 3 easy tips to heal digestion in 7 days. It's in the description below. It's free and it was built for you, not for the average body and not from someone else's protocol, for you. You are not alone in this. Share this video with a woman in your life who has been dismissed or who has been told she's fine when she knows she is not. Give her this, because knowledge is healing and every woman deserves both. She is clothed with strength and dignity. That is Proverbs 31:25. We'll see you in the next video.